Hello, beautiful.
Look at our colors.
Oh my God, we totally match. I love that.
Oh my God.
I'm not even surprised by it. Hello, beautiful.
Hello, beautiful too. Actually, hello, gorgeous.
Man, the social distancing. We're used to this though, right?
We actually are very used to this.
Oh my God, this is
no,
such
an my child's coming in already. We just
started. The children are coming though, but that's real. This is real life. They can come into our Q&A.
Yes, Micah.
I can't play with Sojo.
Why can't you play with Sojo?
Because I want to play with people.
Go get him. Go.
Go get him.
The rubber band.
Can we talk? Wait, can we talk about that? Like, how do we balance that with being home working, social distancing? Like, can we talk about that? How are we doing this?
So, currently right now, so I have these rubber bands that are like these big rubber bands, and I have put them on my door, because I don't have a lock on my door in my office. And so, but somehow they get in regardless. And so they're making a rubber band every single time. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Honestly, it's so hard. It's so hard. I mean, you can talk about it too from your perspective, Nicki, but I find that people who are not working right now versus people who are working in your house, there's a lack of understanding when it comes to actually talking about work, or if you're in a space, because then the other person or the other people, my coworkers, aka my children, think that I'm ignoring them and that I don't want to play with them. And so I'm trying to explain to them and say, okay, mom's got to work right now between this time and this time, and then I'll have some time to hang out with you. And they don't like it. And it's super hard. And I'm just one of those people that I just let it go and understand that this is part of the process. And I think that, I may have to move downstairs in the basement so that they don't physically see me because I have glass doors, or I may have to, go change my location and change my space. I mean, I try to change it up every day so that I feel like I'm going somewhere different.
Right. And your hair looks good today.
I did my
makeup on.
I did my hair and makeup just for you, Nicki.
Thank you. Thank you. But it's a good point that you're making. It's an adjustment. And this has been like, first week, we're adjusting. I feel like the honeymoon period is over. In about 2 weeks, we're really going to settle into like serious reality checks. This is going to be our life for, I'm going to think 6 weeks out. And we're coming up with new normals and evolving, and maybe that's what it is. It's about evolving, and you have to evolve it to get it right. But like, it's so challenging having everyone in one space all day long, every day, and being able to like do your job and also take care of yourself. Like, we're talking about self-care and just the restlessness too of it all. It's a lot. I mean, people are really having, I know I have anxiety about it. It's real. So why don't you tell me a couple things that I should focus on to combat this anxiety, or like the restlessness of not being able to leave the house?
So I think that, to me, restlessness, or, the idea that we can't leave the house, it's a little bit of a mental game too. I know, at least for me, just even taking a walk outside is enough to make me feel like I'm leaving the house. I would also say too, this is going to sound silly, I've taken drives just because, not that I've gone anywhere specifically, but I may take a drive around the block or down the street or something, again, just as a mental way of distancing myself from my own home. I think that, in general, one of the things that we need to do right now, obviously we need to stay grounded. We need to understand that we not only have our own anxiety that is going on, but we also have a collective energy of anxiety. The more that we watch the media, the more that we pay attention to social media.
Right.
anything that we're doing right now, if you're a sensitive person like me, and I know, you know, Nikki, you and I talk about this all the time, we have to distance ourselves from those, because here's the thing, you know, if you watch the media, the stories that they're always putting up there obviously are, you know, where did this virus go next? We know it's moving. It's known information, right? We know it's going to continue to move. Obviously, if we need to know information and you know, check on status so that we know what we're doing as humans is the best possible thing for our health and preventing the you know, spread of this virus to others, stay home, right? So it's important. We already know that piece of information, so stay home. But I think the other things that we can do is that this is an opportunity for us to be present, you know, and I shared this the other day about the value of staying home and coming home within ourselves and understanding what that means when it comes to the power of presence. And, you know, those environments could be very challenging right now, or those environments can be very chaotic. And today, my environment is chaotic.
Every day. It's every day though, right? We just have to like keep going and keep moving, you know. And can you tell me a little bit about routine though? I think routine is really important. Like that's what we can't flow too much, right?
We can't. Hold on here. I've got an intruder. Once routine. Resuming.
Okay.
So routine. Routine. So for me,
see, this is real life. This is what you know, and you know what's interesting, Connie? You're a certified strengths coach, a life coach, and you're battling this right now. So I want to ask you, what is your routine? It's like we're all struggling, right? But it's so important, the routine, right? And it's just the first week. I feel like next week is better. The kids are going to get used to it.
This is my second week. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm in denial.
I'm in denial. So my routine, I mean, today I actually got dressed, but so every morning
right, get out of the pajamas.
Right? You have to get out of the
pajamas.
You have to. Mindset is everything. I think one of the biggest challenges in remote stuff, like I joked, I woke up every morning, I come up with a joke. Like, you know, yesterday was like, you know, this is, you know, now we know what Elsa felt like, you know, being quarantined her whole life because she had magical powers, and then there was coronation day, haha, right? But and then
I love it.
Then this morning I woke up and it's been about, you know, the fact of, you know, I woke up this way shirt, like, you know, everybody has these shirts. It's like, yeah, I woke up this way. And I think that, you know, my routine has not changed actually. So I wake up every morning, I brush my teeth, I get ready. I do make a decision as to whether or not I do wash my face, brush my teeth, and I've been going more with the no makeup zone. But today I was like, you know what, I'm going to change it up, and I'm actually going to put some earrings on because I haven't put them on in like 2 weeks, and do something because it makes me feel good on the inside. You know, it's interesting. I just finished a guide that is about to go live and hopefully over the next week, but it's really about an opportunity for you to express yourself exactly as you are. And one of the things that I talk about is, you know, understanding your style. I also talk about understanding your energy and understanding the story, and then how do you communicate that. But one of the pieces with style that I talk about, it's like, you know, getting ready, wearing things that make you feel like you're in your joy every day. This is my joy, right? You know, and I laugh because some people are like, oh gosh, you know, can you just sit there without makeup? Yeah, I have. And I have live videos that I've done no makeup too. I don't care. But if I am in my best place, my best self, if I'm following my daily routine, I'm getting ready. You know, and then I'm coming down and I'm making breakfast, and you know, I am doing the norm in terms of what I have to do every day. And, you know, then there's a child that's coming in and handing me a sock right here.
No words. What's interesting, Connie, is it's a puppet show also. Our Q&A will be a puppet show. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say about this. I want to say one thing though. I am so grateful for all those people that are putting up live workout sessions,
Oh my God, yeah.
yoga sessions, cooking sessions, like people who are bringing out their talents in that way, and we can come on board. And it's like, I got to tell you, every single day I'm able to do yoga out of the house with some great people, and it's making me feel really, really good and connected. I feel the more you move, the more connected you feel, and you just, it's like, it makes it a lot more easier to deal with all this craziness that we're dealing with.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think, you know, when we talk about anxiety, when we talk about fear, one of the biggest pieces to really as a way to move past that, you know, obviously when we think about anxiety, you know, we're thinking about the past, we're thinking about the future, we're not in our present. We're also, you know, we're concerned more about the uncertainty rather than the certainty that lies within us, within ourselves in the present moment. So, you know, one of the ways to get out of that is physical movement. And I would agree. And you know what, I'll tell you something. How cool is it? All these celebrities and all these other people that doesn't have to be just celebrities, but you know, they're doing these dance videos. I mean, I love the whole TikTok.
Push-ups, the push-ups. It's so crazy.
I love it. I think it's awesome that families, you're seeing them come together to do these dance videos. I mean, when I think about dancing helps us get out of our anxiety and our fear. It's connecting into our second chakra, which is, you know, about our passions and our creativity and our excitement. You know, when I think about what this time right now is doing, other than putting socks on people, is that it's really opening up our creative energy. It really is. And our creatives really are being called to come forward and to entertain.
Yeah, it's like a renaissance, I swear. It's as if we're forced to think out of the box more and to do things differently. You know what I mean? Like our businesses, we have to think out of the box of how we're going to keep ourselves in business. So you're right about that. I feel as if a lot of great books are going to come out of this time, and a lot of great music and a lot of great art. I feel this intuitively, instinctively, that this is one of those creative booms in history. One thing I will say is, one thing that's helped me a lot since the start is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation in the morning and at night. Do you know of any great websites that you want to share, as far as like good websites to go to for a person that's like not new to this, but is feeling a little anxious and unsteady, but open enough to like seek some information on the web?
So, I mean, one of the first things I would say is that, you know, apps, right? There's a lot of apps that we can utilize, like Insight and Calm, right? Those are two,
Calm.
100%, that I think that if you're new to meditation, you've never done it, or if you've done it for a really long time, I think it is the best possible way to do it and get started. I actually love to listen to sound bowl meditations to go to sleep. And honestly, YouTube is your friend. You know, YouTube, and really just being able to search. There's a lot of free stuff out there. You know, even people like.
Do you have meditations on your website?
So I don't have meditations right now on my website. I'm actually in the process of updating my website.
Connie, I'm sorry. Your website is soulsyncwellness.com?
Yes. So I primarily put a lot of my stuff on my Facebook page, as well as Instagram. I'm always posting things on there. When it comes to meditations, one of my favorite people that I follow is Oren and Dobbin. That's one of my favorite sites when it comes to specific meditations. You know, I love, 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 love Danielle Laporte's meditations as well. She's somebody as a teacher I've done. Currently right now, I've been doing stuff from Sonia Choquette. I've been doing a lot of her meditations, Danielle Laporte's meditations. And then, you know, I'll go on YouTube and really kind of see which resonates mostly with me. And then I have a lot of recorded stuff as, you know, somebody who's been through energy medicine school as well. I have a lot of chakra related meditations. So for energy fields, depending on where I need, or I feel like I need it. But for somebody who's never done this before, I think that, you know, starting with an app is the best way to go. And, you know, Insight and Calm 100% are two apps that I would highly recommend to just start. I would also say this, I think right now too, a lot of yoga studios and things like that, and I'm sure Nicki, you can talk about your yoga studio, you know, most people are doing virtual sessions right now, and that includes meditations. So, you know, for places as if you know, that you've never, you know, like for example, I own a Peloton, there's meditations on Peloton, right? You know, there's a lot of other kinds of subscriptions, whether you have Daily Burn or something like that, there's meditations on there too, right? So I think we have more access to that, you know, people like, you know, Deepak Chopra, you know, he has a lot of meditations available that you can find. It's as if like a Gabby Bernstein, right? They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And I think it's really just about, you know, most people I think are fearful of it because they don't know how to sit still.
Right.
So I think the best way to be able to start with a meditation is really just to sit with feet on the ground. And as you sit with both feet on the ground, you know, take breaths in and out and then just sit there and notice, right? So it's a bit more of a mindful meditation, but it's really just noticing and being aware and being in your body and knowing what that feels like, or knowing and understanding and seeking to understand what it's like to be in that present moment. And guess what? For many of us, that's very hard. And I can understand that if you're feeling that, more than likely you're probably feeling that difficulty right now with this crisis, you know.
Right. Right.
So
I mean,
Nicki,
it took
I'm sure
me,
you have tips too.
it took me, when I started doing yoga about a year and a half ago, it did take me 2 months to settle the noise in my head. So it's not something that people think, you know, you do yoga, you try it 1 class, 2 classes, 3 classes, and you're like, you're not feeling it. It's not that kind of practice. You have to, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. But first it takes time, a routine. But the one thing I have to say, Mel Robbins, I just saw this thing about Mel Robbins. She's the one who started the 5-second rule. Remember the 5-second rule, where when you're in the middle of an intrusive thought, like a lot of people can't meditate because they're just like, they're so busy up in their heads. When they have such an intrusive, self-sabotaging, you know, negative self-talk, whatever it is, fear-based thinking, she came out with this 5-second rule where you just count down in the middle of that feeling and that emotion. All you have to do is count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And then it's totally, something happens in your brain where it totally shifts your mindset and frees up space for a new thought to come in. It's this remarkable. And have you ever tried it? Like, I actually have tried it, and it as you form the habit of using it and using it, it does work. I find that it does work. It's like, whatever, if you want to be a less anxious person, you got to put the work into it. It's what it is, you know.
100%. You know, you've got to work it. And I think that, you know, so when we think about fear, right, when we think about anxiety, you know, mindfulness practice tells us, you know, to talk to it, right? Is that, name it. What is it? You know, kind of a thing. Notice it. Don't be, you know, afraid of it. You know, talk to it as if it's outside of you. But I think one of the other things to really notice about anxiety and fear, it's a thought, right? Fear is not real. Fear is something we create in our minds, and it can be a physical reaction. And one of the things I think we have to really understand is when we're thinking about anxiety, is where does it come from, right? For some of us, it's a feeling that then turns into a thought. And for others, it's a thought that then turns on into a physical response.
Right.
I know for me, my anxiety is it's a thought that then turns into a physical response. And we have 90 seconds in order to be able to slow down what that is. So if you can catch it in your mindful moment, right? It's like you notice it, you know, if you move the thought, right, into something else, you have a chance for it obviously to decrease, right? So we need to understand that and how it lives within our own body. I think that that's really, really important. I also would say this is that, you know, movement obviously is a big, I love mindful walking, by the way. That's another way that I believe people can meditate. And one of the ways to do it, especially right now, people might look at you a little weird, but who cares, is that, you know, walking very, very slowly. And as you lift your right leg or as you lift your left leg, you know, following it, you know, and saying, I'm lifting my right leg. I'm lifting my left leg. And especially if you're in a moment of anxiety, if you go take a walk, right, what does that do? It grounds you, right?
Yeah, it makes you go to the present moment.
You got it.
Focusing on what you're doing. That's interesting. I got to try that.
You know, one of the other things I talk a lot about, it for those of you who have crystals, you know, black tourmaline is a really great crystal right here. You know, very great grounding crystal. And I know for me, you know, I tend to hold these in my hand, you know, especially if I'm feeling a lot of anxiety. I tend to use selenite as well as another crystal that I utilize, you know, and I completely kind of relax. So, you know, there's lots of tools and lots of things that we can utilize. Tapping is another thing, you know, that.
Oh yeah, the tapping. Love that.
There's a lot of people right now. So Nick Ortner is somebody who I follow online when it comes to tapping, the emotional freedom technique. You know, there are so many practitioners out there that do that. There's free videos out there on YouTube that you can utilize. You could even go directly and find ones that are specific for anxiety. I have ones that are, I'm looking to my left because this is where I have all my books here. So, and obviously, you know, I think the really big thing with anxiety too is, you know, if we're really looking at kind of breaking it down and understanding it a little deeper, I think that obviously in general, right, eating grounding foods, right, green leafy vegetables, I think right now is really important. I think also obviously our mind.
What about juicing? Juicing, do you believe in juicing?
I do believe in juicing. I just know it tends to be expensive for people. And right now, it might not be easy to get access to the things that we need for juicing, but obviously 100%, it's something that's super, super healthy for all of us. And I've, you know,
and water, drinking water, right?
Here's my water.
How much water are we supposed to drink a day?
So take your body weight, divide it in half, and that's the amount of ounces that you should have a day. If you want, it's more.
Wow. I've got to start drinking water.
So what's interesting is they tell, like I was always told, which I think is a really great idea, is that when you wake up in the morning, part of your routine. So one of the things I do also is I drink hot water with lemon, right? And so if you're somebody who tends to get really distracted and you want your coffee, let's say in the morning, and you know, I wake up, I drink my probiotic first thing in the morning, and then I drink 1 glass of water. And then I wait a little bit of time before I eat breakfast, and I will have hot water with lemon throughout the day. I do like my 1 cup of coffee. I do.
You only drink 1 cup of coffee a day?
That's it. Yep.
Wow. Wow. You don't drink frappe?
No, I can't deal with the caffeine anymore. My body goes like, ah.
Wow. Okay, so I'm probably like a typical person. I drink 3 cups a day.
Of frappe?
Of 2 regular and 1 frappe. Yeah, no wonders why I can't sleep.
Wow.
Right? But it's a good point you're making, the caffeine. It's if you really want to bring your body into a more healthier state, especially as we're navigating all that we're navigating right now, beyond the physical, we need to drink more water and like eat healthier, like the grounding foods that you were talking about, healthier foods. It all plays a role.
So leafy greens are the most grounding, right? So spinach, kale, romaines, you know, I could keep going on, right? Anything that's green and leafy, arugula, right? Those are all green leafy vegetables. Those are things that root vegetables, right? Carrots. Think about it. They're root vegetables. They come from the ground. They keep us rooted. So anything like that is really important for us to really think about. If we have access to it right now, it's super, super important. Obviously, since this is going on, we need to keep ourselves healthy. Vitamin C is huge right now. If your vitamin D levels are down right now, you know, you should, which you may or may not know, but I take a vitamin, you know, D3 every day with my multivitamin and things like that. I'm also a little bit low on my B12, so I take that. But I think that, you know, technically our bodies should be able to get all the nutrition that we need from the food. However, we all have a variety of different health issues, and our absorption levels could be very different. You know, so
right.
I'm an integrative nutrition coach, and I've, you know, been that since 2009. But, you know, I work specifically with functional medicine doctors so that I can think of things holistically and understand, you know, that my blood results are not the same as your blood results. But I think, you know, right now we can only do what we can do. And I know that for some of us, it means that we may be eating junk. And so, you know, because we don't have a sense of time, right? We're not leaving our space. So
right. Such a good point. The kids and junk food and our emotional eating. How do we curb that? That's a big thing that people are experiencing right now.
Discipline. That is one thing I can tell you that I have really focused on in my life. So I pay attention a lot to hunger levels, and you know, as women in particular, right, especially during hormonal changes, right, our eating habits can change. Our desire for salt, our desire for sugar changes. You know, sometimes we need crunchy things. You know, I always say, if you want something that's crunchy,
Yeah,
you know,
that's me.
Yeah. Well, you got some anger that you want to release. So, you know, if you want some yogurts and smooth, it's all calm, right? So think about it that way in terms of the types of foods that you're attracted to. Really say a lot about what's going on.
So wait a minute. If I'm attracted to sweets and chocolate, what's my problem?
Well, girl, I'm going to turn that back to you and say, you know, where might you need a bit more sweetness in your life?
Oh, oh man, I got
right.
Yeah. All
so,
right.
and to me, that's so when your body's like, I need sugar, right? It's like it's that noise too. You know, if your body's telling you, you know, I need sugar right now, then that will tell you that you overdid it in some other aspect, right? So food is also balanced. So, you know, we overeat as humans, right? 100%. So I'm somebody, I know, you know, that I need breakfast. That's just me. I need breakfast with a protein. That otherwise I tend to feel very fatigued and my sugar levels may feel a little off. Okay. That's me. I'm also a sensitive. And so knowing that I'm eating a breakfast with protein is really important. Otherwise my aura and energy is like out here and I'm not grounded. Okay.
Okay.
So that's something that I think is important for a lot of our sensitive folks, that if you're not eating protein or treating yourself with protein, I think you have to really understand and think about this, especially if you're feeling anxious right now. Because we have to do what we can to feel grounded in our food and our physical fitness and all those kinds of things. So anyway, I like totally lost.
No, I mean, it's a lot. I hear you. It's a lot. I mean, we're all kind of thinking about ourselves and self-care more and more now that we're kind of homebound and social distancing. We're really being forced to look at these things, and they're right in front of us. And I guess that's like the blessing of it all too. Personally, I think it's like the slowing down and then kind of reevaluating and saying, you know, I just think in about a week's time, the emotional eating, oh, I'm almost at, my battery's going to die. Maybe that's a sign. The emotional eating, I feel, is going to cease because our bodies and our brains are going to get used to it. That's what I think. It's just, right now it's like high
Mhm.
stress. We don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And we're turning into like, we're going to start forming new habits is what I'm thinking.
You know, so you have to notice that, right? You know, you may have access to, you know, I think there's two ways that people are going to go. One is they may eat less, and then there's others that will eat more. You know, when we eat more, we're looking for comfort, and so that's something that we're doing. I think either way, whether you eat less or eat more, I think you need to ask yourself, you know, what's going on in this present moment that is attracting me to do X, Y, Z, right? I think we need to be more aware. Obviously, I'm an intuitive self-awareness coach. This is what I do, you know, and understanding that every action, every movement, every choice that we make, you know, comes from an intention. So understanding what
Power of intention. Yes.
is so important. So
important.
I think for the eating piece, you know, and I'm hearing everybody be like, oh, I'm eating again. Okay. Change. So this is the same thing with anxiety. When your thought is, I'm going to go and eat something, number one, you drink a glass of water. That's what you always do. Okay. Drink a glass of water, give yourself a 15-minute time span, and change your activity that you're doing. Go do something different.
Okay.
Divert your attention to something else. If after 15 minutes, after you have a glass of water, because sometimes we're just thirsty, and if after you've done something else, you still feel hungry, then you give yourself something to eat. And a piece of fruit, it could be, you know, some protein, it could be almonds or snack, especially if you've already eaten your breakfast, lunch, or whatever it is, right? Some people choose to have small meals throughout the day and multiple. Some people choose to have larger meals. It really depends on who you are and what your metabolism and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's just being mindful of all of this, you know, and also, you know, we're being encouraged to slow down. Think about it as a collective. We're being forced to slow down. Right?
Yes, totally. I have a friend, a very, very good friend, one of my best friends. She lost like 10 pounds just by thinking about every time she puts something in her mouth, she thinks about the intention behind it.
There you go.
Is what you were just alluding to. That's how she lost weight. And I thought, wow, there's a lot of power in that, but it requires discipline.
You got it.
So everything requires, for me, habit forming and discipline. And that's the hardest part, is starting the new habit and saying goodbye to the old, or having compassion for when you regress or whatever like that. But I think you've been really helpful with a lot of good tips. It's like I've been, you know, so we talked about good foods. We talked about.
You're like, what did we talk about?
Routine. I just recapping, honey. Recapping.
Recap it, girl. Recap it.
Routine. Grounding foods. Meditation. Meditation, that's huge. Movement is really big. And tell me what else.
I also just want to add this. I think, you know, as we're being called right now, right? We're being called to step into our own soul. And, you know, that's what I also mean about home. You know, we're being forced to not only look at our home within ourselves, but also our real home. And are we happy there? Is there joy there? You know, I saw something this morning on Kelly and Ryan about the divorce numbers during this time. And, you know, I get it. It's hard to be in the same space with partners for a long period of time, but it's also an opportunity, I think, to address perhaps some of the things that we've avoided in the past. So,
true. Can I add one thing to it?
Go for it. Yeah.
We are being called to be more intimate in our relations, and then we're being forced to be more intimate as a world, as people, as siblings, as spouses, as friends. It just, even with strangers. And it's like so interesting to witness how some people can't handle it, and which rightfully so. There's no control there. And then there's some people that they grow in their compassion for the other person that you know, they may have not necessarily have seen eye to eye with. But so there's a lot of different things happening. I mean, I'm witnessing it in my own household, and it wouldn't have happened otherwise if this social distancing, this crisis, this global reset wasn't happening, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I love that you call it global reset. I think that that's so cool. And thinking about it that way, I hope that it is going to be, I mean, to me, it's an evolution. And, you know, within evolution, there's death and there is rebirth and it's regeneration. And, you know, this is really what this is all about. And, you know, I would encourage all of us, you know, it's scary as hell. I mean, let's be honest. Super, super scary. It's super scary. It's super challenging. We're, as my son walks in, you know, we're being tested. We're being tested to find strength within ourselves in every possible way. And, you know, people who were homeschooled before were homeschooling. And, you know, we're being forced to be teachers and workers and, you know, strategic people and trying to figure things out. And then, you know, your life.
Also, I'm more grateful more than ever. My mindset totally has changed. How I view police officers, firefighters,
healthcare workers.
Yes, and I'm literally, anyone still working right now, I commend them for still working. Yeah. Even the cashiers at the supermarkets, right? I mean, we're really, they're in the front lines. The doctors, the nurses, I mean, it goes on and on. It's remarkable. The mail people, it's just.
I thought about that too. I was like, our mail is still getting delivered, you know.
Yep, FedEx.
Here we are sitting here getting packages, right, with online shopping. And there's people that have to deliver that. And
restaurant owners, let me just give it a shout out to restaurant owners. You could close your doors. Yes, you could close your doors. But instead you're out there and you're providing food for the community. Absolutely. And we got to give them a shout out because a lot of them are doing it and they don't want to do it because they want to be home with their families where it's safe. But they're doing it because they're providing a service. And I have to say, a lot of heroes. That's what I see. A lot of heroes.
I would agree. You know, I know my family's affected by that as well. And, you know, I
know. I know she's like, wrap it up. But we got to wrap it up because I have like 2% battery now.
We got hugs.
I love you. Thank you.
Love you too. Thank you. And
this was fun.
This was fun. You know, we'll be doing it again because this is what
I know. Yeah. All right. Mwah. Bye.